March 10th. Looks like some beautiful weather this week, 60s and 70s. Got some baby calves on the ground. Those are some of Dad's cows I've got in this group. He put the bulls in a little earlier than I did. But mine in here should be calving within the next week or so. I think the middle of March. And then the other groups as well, middle of March to 1st of April, they'll start calving. So, about to get busy before planting season. But we got this group moved over here, the other side of the road. They come from up on top of that hill, down through the woods. And there's a gate right straight ahead there. And then we come down the road a little ways and then through another gate. And then came on out in here to this old hay field, which this side of the road's been rested since middle of September. So October, November, December, January, February, March, almost 6 months. We graze these fields over here. Some of them at least once, some of them twice back in the growing season before we moved over there. So, it's had plenty of rest, and we got the whole side to graze off. Probably got, we do have plenty of grass to get to spring, and we're gonna unroll some of this hay on this poor ground. These old hay fields that still need some more fertility before the grass gets shooting up too much. I got the fence out there on past them cows a little ways. We're stripping going that way. Give a little strip of grass and some hay each day. Greg Judy baling roller does an excellent job for unrolling these bales. See, we started up there a little ways. Probably unrolled 10 bales or so far. But yep, putting down some more cow poo and grass seed and whatever else that they don't eat, which in this situation I don't mind wasting a little hay because the ground needs it. If it was better sod like what's up in there, that was pasture. It's pretty good pasture. I wouldn't want to waste too much up in there, but since there's some bare ground out here still, and definitely needs some more fertility out here. So that's what we're doing. As you can see, all the grass seed down there, cows stomp it in the ground, give it rest, fills in all the bare spots. Plus you got all the cow poo and urine for fertilizer. And funny thing about it is, well, not this hay. I just bought this hay a couple weeks ago. Got a couple wagon loads off a guy. And but the hay that's in the barn up there came from that field right across the fence line. Bought that off the neighbor. and we're going to put it out here on this field. So we're transferring nutrients from that field over to this field. If you're a grazer, you know what I'm talking about. I'll take their nutrients, I'll take the fertilizer and put it over here. But yep, we got 15, maybe 45 bales I'd like to get fed up if we can within the next couple weeks. And by that time, spring will be here and grass will be shooting up, and then we can take off grazing. Not that we haven't stopped, but we'll have some better quality grass ahead of the cows come April. Still need some more cows in this group. We are understocked. So we'll see how this year goes. Probably end up moving some bred heifers into this group as the year goes on. We'll see. I think we're stocked a little over 2 acres, a cow-calf pair, and I'd like to be at, with this non-selective grazing, I'd like for all my groups to be under 2 acres, a cow-calf pair. I'd like to try 1.75 acres, see how we get along, and maybe push it to 1.5 acres. We'll see. Especially if we have a good growing season. The past 2 growing seasons haven't been the best. I mean, they say we were in droughts, which I believe it. So if we actually have a decent year, boy, we could really grow some grass and run a higher stocking rate for sure. Because when you look around, there ain't too many folks in our area still grazing. Here we are in March, middle of March. Most folks have been feeding hay all year, if not most of the winter. Ain't too many still grazing. Grazing and running a higher stocking rate, should I say. Not feeding that much hay either. Which is where total grazing can really up your stocking rate and cut back on your hay costs. As long as your cows can handle it. And as I've mentioned before, use a top-notch mineral program. That's what Jim Elizondo recommends. Since you're grazing the whole plant, if the cows can't get it from the grass, if your soil's not tip-top shape like Gay Brown or any other regenerative grazers, if you got tip-top soil, they should be able to get most of the minerals and stuff they need from the grass. 90% bioavailable, Steve Campbell says. But if you're not there yet, like in this field, it's not there yet. So probably going to have to supplement. And that's where a good mineral program to help supplement if they're not getting it from the grass, especially in a drought year. They need to get those minerals in the dry form, in a mixed mineral, sea salt, or from mineral water, which the mineral water is at least twice as bioavailable than the dry form, which is what we've been doing, and as much as I can since I found out about it, and it seems like it's working so far. when they are on the mineral water, they don't eat as much of the dry form mineral. And yeah, I'm excited to mess around with it this growing season, see how these cows perform, because the past couple years they haven't been doing the best, and that's on me for not paying much attention to the mineral program and not knowing how to read a mineral tag and just not putting a good mineral mix in front of them. And these past 2 drought years have really shown that if you don't have tip-top soil and a good mineral program, that your cows will probably not perform like they should. And as Steve Campbell says, you will not express the genetics that you own until you get the minerals and the grass and everything where it needs to be. But with that, adding some spring fertilizer to this field. As far as grazing this farm this year, got a couple options, but my plan was to let this side of the farm, once we get it grazed off and spring comes rolling around, we're gonna go back on the other side and hit that hard. We should be able to stay on that side most of the growing season. And then we'll let this side of the farm stockpile all year. And that should help with getting these older hay fields better established. Let them go to seed, let them dig their roots, do their thing, build some organic matter, and we'll graze them if we need to. If we hit a drought in the summertime and the other side's not recovered, if not, we'll end up grazing them towards the beginning of winter, late fall, whenever. So, yep, getting some beautiful weather ahead of us. Gonna be a nice week. Get some more newborn calves. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or so out now. So, gonna get busy. And this is why we wait until late mid-March, 1st of April, till we start calving. Weather's a lot better. Grass is coming back here shortly. And don't have to mess around with the snow, the cold weather in January and February, and all that nonsense. I've seen quite a few folks, which it seems like everybody around us calves in the wintertime, and they call it early spring calving, which is hilarious. But I can't imagine calving in the winter we just had with all the snow and cold and rain, and you know most of them ain't grazing, they're feeding hay. So you're asking your cow to give birth in a cold time of year, unless you get a warm day and get lucky, but not in the wintertime, very rare. And then you're asking her to perform off hay, unless you're feeding some high dollar feed like corn silage or grain. But hey, no thank you. I'll wait till the actual spring when it gets warmer and makes it a whole lot easier. But to each their own. If it works, it works. Have at it, but not for me. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Y'all have a good one.